the place to be. The pace was very honest in this race. I think she's just sort of okay, Greg. I've got her second, but I'm not a huge fan of hers, even though she's named by a friend of mine who owns a piece for his daughter.
Oh, really?
Yes, his daughter was.
Oh, that's a good story.
Tom Coleman.
Yeah, we're going to see Austere in the Breeders' Cup, but I don't think that horse has run any kind of races that make you stand back and go, well, this horse faced Austere, who took a massive improvement. That was a 78 buyer with that win for that horse in that race. Yeah, I'm not overtly encouraged with Latte Lizzie.
But she's okay. I mean, she seems like one of the horses. I'll tell you what. I've got her third. You have her nowhere. I'm not a big fan of Gold Lightning in this race, and I hope that she's favored in here because she ran well to break her maiden. I will not argue that. I thought she was awful last time out. I mean, she got good position. Joel had a perfect spot in the rail, and I just thought he was asking her like almost the half-mile pole, which is highly unusual for Joel. And I just don't think she had any run at all. Now, her debut was good. I thought her last was a very disappointing effort. You obviously don't like her at all.
I even thought her debut, I mean, it was good. It wasn't great.
It was visually impressive. It was one of those
Yeah, I mean, it was
races.
not that fast a race. And then she did nothing in there. This was there were a couple of races where I was questioning who should be the favorite in here. And yeah, this was one where I don't know if she is going to be favored or should be.
I wonder if she will be. There's part of me, and I always feel like Chad Brown sort of ends up being default favorite in these races. He ran maybe one of the most overbet horses in the history of racing when that bad maiden race that I ran, that horse, the 3-horse in the third race yesterday, was even money. No. That was one of the most perplexing even money shots I've ever seen in racing. We both like Ozara in here, and we'll take a look at her winning her debut before she went up to the Talma. And she didn't run that well, but the winner did run extremely impressively that day. But I thought Ozara ran well. Yeah, she got a good trip. She beat Weigh the Risks. We're going to go back to that race for Ozara. Came back to win, albeit without much of a fig. Weigh the Risk is out for the rest of the year, unfortunately.
2 Chad Browns behind her come back and win out of here.
Yeah, I got a feeling she's okay. I'm going to go with her.
Productive race she comes out of where she beats this group. And then Detna Talma, there were 5 next out winners in that race. A 6th horse who was second beat a half length in the stakes race as well. And I haven't dug in that deep on it yet. But I do like she feels pretty a little bit in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf.
Well, I mean, I know the second horse came back and won on synthetic.
Yeah.
I want to see how they did on races, but I just feel like I just think she might be the best horse in the race.
She bobbled a little bit of the start in that Natalma as well.
I want to take her as well as you. A horse that I'm a little bit scared of. You've got her third, and I her fourth. Is Gavea. Who I liked a lot last time. I liked her win in Chantilly. I thought it was a solid enough effort. She ran against, I think it was a 3rd horse, was a pretty good horse in there. You could argue as we take a look at that race from Churchill, the 2nd place finisher had some trouble early in that race. But you could also argue that Gavea had a little trouble early in the race and kind of got pushed out wide in the first turn. She was more forward in a race that was kind of coming apart. I think she's dangerous coming here for Al Stahl.
Yeah, I mean, you got to like the fact that she wins the debut, and then State's debut, she gets it done as well to win. You look at the field, and the runner-up was 49-1 in the maiden special Colonial.
They supposedly loved her.
Really?
There was a
3rd place finisher.
How much could they have loved her? Like
would
500 to win.
Maiden 25, maiden claiming race at Colonial. So
she was the speed.
I do question the field a little bit.
I agree. That's why I didn't put her higher. That's why I have her 4th in this race. But with you and the 5 and 8 is one race that you and I agree. Race number 7 is the Athenia. And there's a massive scratch in the Athenia. I don't think I got this when I saw the first scratches on Equibase, that Mr. Karras wasn't out, but she is out, and she was a big speed here. And as we go back and look at the Ballston Spa, and consumer spending obviously should have won this race. She was badly blocked. To me, Fluffy Socks had absolutely no excuse to lose this race. It was a fast pace, a runoff speed that collapsed, and she got a perfect ride and a perfect trip from Irad Ortiz. Frankly, I'm amazed that technical analysis got beaten only a length in this race, given that she got involved with that runoff speed. She ran away. She was the first to attack her. She was game to the wire. I'm not worried about a 1 1/8. She ran a tremendous race. One of the best races she ever ran was her second to Diana at a 1 1/8. And without Mr. Karras in here, she now becomes the controlling speed in here. And I think this might be her final career start, too.
Oh, really?
I believe she's in the sale in Keeneland. I'm not certain, but I think she is, unless you know it's wrong.
If you have an opportunity, I wish we could show it, but we don't have time. But if you could go back and watch it, that beginning of the Ballston Spa, you have to go back and watch that race because what had happened was such a storyline. What had happened with his filly before, with his mare, I should say. They knew it felt like that they had to be forward and get the lead with this.
No, I know they wanted to be.
Tried. It is a
Jose
throwdown,
Roeder.
and they still weren't able to get the lead. So Jose had to take back, and they didn't want to. And it was crushing. So today. It is all out, have to go, and now with the scratch of Mr. Karas, I mean, it changes everything in here.
I agree, and I'm a huge fan of Technical. I'm not picking against her in what could be her last start. She's had a terrific career. I mean, she's just a cut below being one of the best horses in her generation, losing to Natalia.
That Bolson spot, too, she was acting up at the gate before they broke, which she may have been a little unsettled that day. Now she's alone in front. She's going to be so tough in here.
She's going to be very much the worst to beat in this race. I'm not trying to beat her.
Real quick, I'll just say Evidencia's.
Yeah, what's your story
I'm intrigued
with
this horse a little bit. Obviously,
the
horse.
Brazilian horses.
What's that?
Love those Brazilian. You get some Brazilian info. Your neighbor gave it to you.
Clement takes over. The horse had actually had success, obviously, in Brazil. It's going to be a totally different ball game. Second dam was actually a Grade 1 winner of the Yellow Ribbon of the Gamely, who was 8 for 11 on the turf.
Oh, I know that was. It wasn't too charmant, was it?
No. I got to go back and look at it now. I didn't write the name down.
Oh, okay. Who knows? I usually throw those horses out. Sparkle Blue is dangerous in here.
Yeah.
It's weird. There were 4 or 5 mile races, somebody else was telling me about this, that were relatively similar times here, and they obviously just sort of used the field to make the fig. The fig makes sense of the field. Sparkle, the winner, Royal Realm Wire, the field. This is a day that the rails had come down. She did make an outside run in this race. I think she's an improving horse in here, and I feel like she's a dangerous player. I don't want to, by the way, completely dismiss Fluffy Socks. I just feel like she should have won last time. She's still pretty good.
Still a major player in here. But especially now with the scratch of that other speed, she's up against, everyone's up against it. Sparkle Blue, at least she's got the inside post, and she's going to save ground automatically.
And I don't think the pace projector has her last. I'm not sure she's going to be that far back in here, though she doesn't have much speed. See how it plays out, the Athenia, which we moved, and we're going to get to run on the turf, something we haven't seen a lot of. The Bold Ruler, there's a very, very big scratch in the Bold Ruler as well, because with Pirate Rick coming out, Durante becomes a week and a half the horse to beat. And a horse you and I were sort of picking against. I mean, show his last race. I know Cowan beat him. Right at this point, he's between horses. He looks like he could be last at this point.
Probably should have been.
And he ends up battling back. He ran an amazing race. Let me ask you a question, though. Are you at all concerned about Lasix off? I am.
I'm concerned about that, and I'm concerned about not even going back to this race because he ran very hard.
Coming back in this race. 13 days off this effort.
Yes, and even the race before that, he ran a huge lifetime best effort. So now it's back-to-back starts, quick return. That was the main reason for me. Even when I saw Pirate Rick, that I'm like,
Pirate Rick, I was really against him. Now the scratch.
No, with him coming out, I'm like, oh, God, this horse is almost a lock. I'm still concerned about the efforts the last 2 that might take some starch out of him.
Well, one thing I'll say about your horse, Twisted Ride, he's probably helped by the scratch too because he can sit a lot closer, I think. I mean, isn't Jose supposed to try to get him in the game?
He's going to be probably sitting right off of Durante in there. He had
about
legitimate trouble.
Coming in, Jeff Fa coming in from Western Canada.
You got to hope, I guess, that he puts a little pressure, which it's got to be the game plan, right?
He's got a lot of speed.
But yeah, Twisted Ride had legitimate trouble last time out to get checked back and be so far out of it, and ran pretty good to make up ground. Yeah, I thought he had no right to get second in that race. Somehow he did against a horse who's now won 3 straight on the dirt. He's got 4 races prior to that this summer.
He's got races that give him a chance.
Where Durante would be chasing him.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of Durante, but his form is so good, and his last race was good. Yeah. I don't think. My feeling with Provocateur is, I loved him last time. Now, obviously, that was a horrendous opinion. I really wonder if he just didn't handle the sloppy track. He fell back farther than he was supposed to be. Look where he normally is, and look where he was early in that race. And I think there's a real possibility, especially with Bill bringing him back on short rest. He feels he just did not handle the track. I thought his return race gives him a chance in here. He took a little bit of a step back in his next race. That's why I was hoping his third off a layoff would get his best effort. Maybe he didn't handle the slop. I got to give him one more chance at a big price in here. It's just, I'm sort of committed. Speaking of people who should be committed, Lee Einsiedler's High Oak is running today. Now, I have a question about High Oak, as we'll show his race 3 back where he ran second. We talked about this, I think. Were you on when we were talking about this in the show?
Yes, and I'm glad. Yeah, Mike. I'm so glad you brought it up because I actually have the exact same opinion of you, but I'll let you talk about it. This horse had just not been run. The horse, obviously, Fountain of Youth, fell. It just was never the same horse. It was so precocious early, graded stakes winner at Saratoga, and it seemed like the horse was done. Then what happened?
Katie Davis got on him. And listen, we're all fans of Katie Davis. Katie Davis would agree. Irad Ortiz is a better rider. And I understand that if you're the connections, you have an opportunity to get Irad Ortiz, it's very hard to pass up. But I worry a little bit that this is a horse that responded to Katie. And nobody's disputing how great Irad is as a rider, but this is a horse that didn't run for other riders and other good riders, Luis Saez, John Velasquez. And I wonder a little bit if maybe this horse is going to miss Katie. I just wonder that a little bit.
I'm with you. This horse was just doing nothing. The horse was spinning his wheels. They were considering, weren't they, retiring the horse?
I think they were very close to retiring him.
And all of a sudden, Katie Davis gets on board, and the horse shows life. So I legitimate concerns with her not being aboard today.
It's a crazy rider change because on the surface of things, and once again, Katie's a good rider. She's done nothing wrong. She's ridden this horse very well. You're still going to want Irad Ortiz, but I'm just a little bit worried that he's not going to respond as well for Irad. The other thing is, he's going to be very short in here. He's the closer, there's speed, he gets Irad for Katie and the surface of things. He's run against better horses, but he could also win.
Are you that excited about coming out of the Vosburg and the running he did in that race?
There was no pace, but he didn't do any running in there at all. Now, I have another question, though. At least I put him fourth. Lee is coming with sandwiches today. If you had known that, would you have at least put him fourth?
They put my wrong picks up. There's a mistake.
Okay, I just want to know that. He claims the sandwiches are good. I can't have them because I'll be on the air, but he's teasing
Thank you,
me.
Lee.
Race number 9, and then I'll get Greg to fix his picks on the website because you blocked them out. And did you see the 8 picks across in race number 8? I almost fixed them out.
Oh, no, I changed it.
Oh, you did? You fixed it? Okay. There is a horse in this race that if you trust him is way, 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 way the horse to beat, and that's Slap in the Face. So look at his race, because this was a day, he finished second. The rail was an advantage. The winner of this race is okay. I mean, he came back, he obviously improved going longer, but I thought he ran fine yesterday, finishing third in the 8th race.
This is Saratoga race.
Yeah.
Watch his finish here.
If he runs back to this effort and he gets an honest trip, somebody better
and
really...
he's outside, right?
Yes.
White blinkers?
Yeah, but he just got... I mean, a slow pace. The rail was good.
I look at this and I see a horse that just doesn't want to go by.
No,
horses.
I see a horse who was badly compromised by dynamics, and the rail was good. And if he runs that race, he's going to win. There are strangers in here, so I kind of get it.
He's definitely, again, probably the third most way the horse to beat in the card, right?
So, yes. Well...
I question his will to win.
We've got a couple minutes, so after this race, we'll talk about the pick 6 briefly. I will say one thing. If there's one ticket live in the pick 6, Greg, to the 4, it better be you, Egyptian Quest, because this one's going to be a very big price.
We go back to Latte Lizzie. Dan produced Latte Lizzie in here.
Oh.
Yeah. I love, especially on the turf, 2 sprints stretching out.
Really? Because I hate it.
Oh, I think it's a tremendous move. Get that foundation and then go longer. And you look back at that last race, and ho-hum, didn't run that well. I thought this horse actually started running a little bit late in the race to show some ability.
Wasn't everybody running a little late in the race?
Look, it was a restricted maiden special. I'm sorry, state-bred maiden special.
This is state-bred, right?
Yeah, I thought showed a little bit of life, and I think it's a horse who's going to get better with more ground.
Kathleen Damasi is 1 for 16 with maiden stretching out in the turf with a 29-cent ROI and is 2 for 43.
2 sprints stretch out or stretching out?
Stretching out, any sprinter stretching out. Okay, listen, this horse is a giant price. I'm not knocking him. I think you've got a couple of Todd Pletcher's horses in here. I'm surprised about Domination, who worked out a year plus ago with no pedigree really for turf to speak of. I'm not a big fan of the Lau bands in the turf. Maybe it's counterintuitive, this horse going. And then you've got Clever Forever, and we'll show Clever Forever's last race, albeit on the dirt. I was surprised to see him going to the turf. There is big turf in the second dam of this horse.
Yeah.
The dam herself, she got a 74 buyer finishing second. She's produced 4 horses to try the turf, did no running, and I'm not a big fan of Lau bands on the turf, but this horse is pretty good.
Yeah, dam 2-time winner on synthetic, who was 0 for 2 in the grass. That second dam you're talking about was 2 for 3 on the turf in the U.S., 3 for 9 overall. Won, an A other than and a 2 other than at Pimlico and Keeneland. So obviously showed some ability for that surface. This horse is going to get overbet.
We're going to get bet off dirt races. That's the problem. I don't disagree. I think Tony O is not impossible in here. I'm not sure if I had to lean on somebody, I wouldn't lean very heavily. Listen, Fake Celebrity didn't run that badly last time, but it wasn't a very good field, but not really impossible in there. It's not
the
like
race, too, that Lieutenant Mitchell tied
for Linda
for Chad in the
and Chad
final
was
race of the
second
meet.
just to the final nail. Okay.
Did get bumped legitimately, though, too, Fake Celebrity
I
out
agree.
of the gate.
I agree, and broke a little slow, but did also save ground almost every step of the way. But he did run through traffic in the stretch and did do a little bit of running, so I can't knock him. Okay, so the pick 6. I think we'll agree the 4th race you got to spread a little bit in there somewhere, right? I mean, I know you and I agree in the race, but
no question.
There are multiple contenders. Race number 5, we've gone through it. We both think that race is wide open. So there are races people are going to have to spread. So where do you start narrowing things down? I might take a shot and use just the 5 and 8 in the next race. Ozara and Latte Lizzie and just try from there.
Yeah, I might even lean on Ozara.
I would lean on technical analysis. I definitely understand the Sparkle Blue being a backup, Fluffy Socks being backups, but I think you have to lean on technical analysis at this point. Probably.
And there are some questions with her a little bit. I mean, she's not running figures near as fast as she was last year.
I agree.
So there's still a hint of, but yes, she should control
her last
that
race was pretty good.
She should control
on the circumstance. I mean, I'm not sure what you do in the Bold Ruler. I mean, do you lean on a horse like Durante? Obviously, I picked Provocateur, but I mean, you've liked the 6 in here.
Yeah,
I thought Stage Left had a chance. High Oak, obviously.
A lot of people are going to lean there, especially with the 3 coming out. But again, you and I still both picked up this horse, so for us, it's not.
I would lean very heavily on Slap in the Face.
I would not.
Okay.
That horse.
Well,
to
you
me,
picked somebody else, so you shouldn't.
Yeah, is a classic.
I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't agree. And listen,
question that horse will to get by. But we'll
I'm not
see.
One Headlight's biggest fan, but he's still okay. Though he did hang like a chandelier yesterday to a horse who had a much tougher trip. Good sequence. Good cards.
Tough. We could have, who knows? We could have another carryover.
We'll see what happens. You'll be on later. I think I'll be on with a half an hour from you. Chris Griffiths actually hosting early. It'll be Rajiv and I. And then Rajiv, you and I.
Yeah, did a really good job yesterday.
Excellent. I know. I'm going to really be nasty to him.
Of course you will.
I was very nice yesterday. I can't allow that to happen again. And Richie, of course, will be on with you later. Maggie's here. Acacia's on later on the harness show. You guys head over to Naira Bets. Best place to play the races, all the races, anytime, anywhere. Use the promo code CUP25. We'll give you a $25 free bet along with your $200 sign-up bonus. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. We have a $20,079 carryover in the pick 6. Starts in race number 4. We have 3 pick 4s, 2, 3, and 6. Also, we have 1 and 5 for the pick 5s today. $100 bonus. You bet. $25 bonus, you bet 100 or more on Belmont at the Big A, Aqueduct that is, and Keeneland. An opt-in for that, and we're on from 12:30 to 5 today, covering the action from the Big A, and then we'll be on from 9 to 11 with the Breeders' Crown races. Once again, Greg, thanks. I'll be seeing you a little bit later. Be seeing you as well. Johnny I, just 3 days left before he leaves us for the winter. He'll be giving you a reprise of the scratches in just a moment.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Belmont at the Big A. It's a cloudy Friday with the temperature in the 70s. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm. We have a pick six carryover of $20,000. In the first race, scratch number 6, Classy Mischief. In the first, scratch the 6. Second race, scratch number 1, Good Penny, part of an entry. Scratch number 1, Good Penny. In today's third race, scratch the 11, Boardwalk Fries. Scratch the 11, and note that the 4 will be 1 pound over. Race 4 begins that pick 6. Scratch 1A, Oxymore. 1X, My Harbor's Dream. Scratch 2B, Zenbei. 3C, Clem Levine. 7, Super Energizer. And the 12, Alternate Reality. Scratch 1A, 1X, 2B, 3C, 7, and 12. And note that the 10 is 1 pound over. No changes in race 5. On to the 6th race, the Chelsea Flower Stakes. And scratch the also eligibles, numbers 11, 12, and 13. Scratch 11, 12, and 13 out of race 6. The 7th race is the Athenia. Scratch number 5, Miss Dracaris. Scratch the 5. Race 8, the Bold Ruler. Scratch number 3, Pirate Rick. Scratch the 3. And in the 9th race, number 3, Dolly's Bank will run with a cheek piece off and scratch the also eligibles 11 through 16. Scratch 11 through 16. Main track is fast. The turf courses are firm. The Friday opener, Belmont at the Big A, in 28 minutes at 12:35.